So this is a gentle reminder to people. You know, it's like, yes, the cove is beautiful, and it's this is just this wave pattern that says, here's the cove, but also just a gentle reminder that we should be talking about this, rather
in whatever way.
in whatever, you know, as we should be aware of it, and we should be talking about it in terms of our development in this area, and we need to make responsible decisions.
It's interesting that as a local neighborhood organization, you're dealing with global issues.
Right.
And,
Well,
that's very interesting.
I think our goal is to make it a local issue because it is. I mean, if you try to think of it as a global issue, it's just too huge to really comprehend.
Yeah.
But if you just talk about right here, you know, a little lake forming right down there, it's a saltwater lake, and the city has already been talking about, you know, in some of the meetings they were like, well, maybe we should stop any building in this area because you know, and so it's a very shocking and interesting thing because already you're having a conversation of like, you know, maybe we should just not build anymore in this area. And you're like, well, that's the interesting thing. But is that the way to do it, or is there other ways? And it's sort of
it's an initial reaction.
It's an initial reaction, but I think it's also people that are in these buildings don't even know that discussion at all is happening and how it will affect them.
And as Chris was mentioning, the cove tries to reclaim its edges by forcing its way back up through the storm drains and making a little, almost like a little pond over here on Cove Street. Yeah. So Tim was saying that birds actually gather here.
Really?
Because this is like a blind.
Yeah, they really feel comfortable. I walk here every time and I see birds of prey and ducks and geese congregating in the toxic pond thanks to gin poisoning themselves. But yeah, they feel extremely comfortable. Like, and normally before that there wasn't. Like, so it really kind of shields them off enough to feel they want to be there. It's a pretty cool thing that you should market. You know.
Another part of that is this is now another passage through the neighborhood. It's well traveled. So that was one of the criteria for the Meeting Place project, is that at some kind of uplifting, you know, the fences were thought of as being something that enlivened the walkways and the entryways, right? So that we were definitely thinking of that here.
So these connections we've made through these things is I can now approach somebody like Mary Ellen and be like, hey, you know, my neighborhood has a really great idea, and you know, hopefully put some more art in here too, which is nice. I mean, we've now learned we can just do this and not have to have like some crazy process that really.
It's true. The threshold is
lowered.
Now.
Yeah, I think so.
And we did, out of courtity, notify the Portland Public Art Committee.
Yeah.
And we didn't ask permission. We just let them know that we were doing it. Right. Fine. Yeah. Fine. And the Bayside Trail Committee, the people who are responsible for making the trail and maintaining the trail. So, but the fence itself is owned by Cardente Real Estate. Yeah. So we did get permission from him, but everyone else, we just, out of courtesy, any stakeholders in this area, we notified them to let them know what was happening, and also just to build interest, right?
Yeah. And that's one thing this project has done, is definitely drawn. And we had a really good time doing this. I mean, we met all sorts of people.
And Chris organized 4 or 5 work parties, so that people in the neighborhood are the ones who cut up all this fabric. Because we had to establish a method, like how long are the strips.
Right.
It was I can't remember, I remember we were doing like 3,000 at a time. It's a lot of them in here.
Yeah,
how many people do you
at one point I knew how many per panel.
It's a lot more than you think.
Yeah,
it's a huge amount of them.
It was a contemplative activity.
Yeah, there's just